My name's Darren Nesbitt. I'm being interviewed by Wesley Ahmed, and the reason why we are sat here in my house in Bury today with a bunch of fantastic people who have helped me defend, helped me save my house basically. Banks are making an illegal and fraudulent claim on my house, on my home. And we've been fighting them through with the courts and the judicial system and through their channels, which obviously they own as well. And it's come down to people power. You know, there was 80 people here at one point today, and they saw off two big burly bailiffs. The police came, and he shook my hand. He said they're not coming back. Well done, kind of thing. So it feels like something's happening, and people everywhere are feeling a big change within themselves and within the whole of humanity. That consciousness is awakening. That we're awakening to the lies and deceit and manipulation and mind control and programming that they have done over centuries. Everybody's becoming aware of that. Everybody knows you felt for a long time that things have been wrong. But nobody knows why. And the 2008 financial crash happened, and a lot of people started looking into the banking and the economic system. My awakening was sometime last February, March, and my friend was sat here, funny enough, came round one day, just played some music or what have you it was. He said, you know the Bank of England's a private company, don't you? I went, no, really. It's because like everybody else, you call it the Bank of England, you think it's the Bank of England, by the government, for the government, by the people, for the people. He said, no, that's not true. So I started doing some research, and then I came across a video called The Money Masters. It's about 3 hours long. It's probably one of the most important videos that you'll ever watch if to do the financial system. It explains how the Federal Reserve sets. It explains how the Bank of England sets. It explains how money works. Because the one thing they don't teach you at school is how money works, what it is, how finance works. You know plenty about Pythagoras' theorem, and we know what an oxbow lake is. But nobody's got any idea what money is or how it comes to be, and it's the stuff that we need. Everybody uses it every single day for your food, for your drink, for your rent or your mortgage, for the things that you need, for the things that you want and things that you need. But nobody's ever explained it, and the banks do a very, very clever thing. They lull us into believing that when we go for a loan of any kind, whether it's a mortgage or whether it's a credit card or a personal loan or an overdraft, I suppose, that they're lending us their own money, their own assets. The basis of all contracts, whether in whatever level, in whatever country, is that you have two parties who want to trade considerations, trade one thing for another. The banks are hoodwinking us to believing that they are putting up consideration. They are putting up their own money. They're not. And Mervyn King, in a speech last year, admitted it, and Lord Adair Turner has admitted it, has said how money is created. Money is created not quite out of thin air, but on your signature when you go for a loan or mortgage. So you go to the bank, you say, this house costs £90,000, can you lend me £90,000 please? Or if you've got a deposit, fine. Can you lend me, whatever it is, we'll keep it simple. And they, out of the goodness of their heart, lend you some of their money because they look at you, you're a good risk, you've always paid your debts back. So here's £90,000 of our money, and we'll transfer it to the vendor, and there's your house, and obviously you must pay us back over time at twice the rate, or 3 times the rate if you're really unlucky, because don't forget interest rates used to be about 16% in the 1970s and 80s. Anyway, that's what we believe to happen. That's what we believe happens. They lend us their money, we pay it back. That is not true. That's the biggest fallacy. That's what I found out last February, which is what's led eventually to today. They don't lend us our money. They don't lend us their money. They lend us our money. All we're doing is signing a promissory note, a promise to pay, to say, you lend me £90,000, I will pay you back £500 a month for the next 20 years, whatever the maths is. That promissory note they take, and they can then turn into cash. They are then pretending that they are lending you their money. They then send me a claim when I stop paying and when you stop paying and figure it out. So everybody's paying a mortgage. You're paying lots of money back to a bank every month that they didn't lend you in the first place. They didn't put up anything of consideration in this contract. They did not make a contract. And the reason you know this is because if you ring them up or write to them or go to court and ask for them to show them the contract, the original contract signed by both parties, as is required by the Law of Property 1989, Miscellaneous Provisions Act, that both parties as a signature for any sale of land. They can't produce that contract in a court of law via the post, in front of you, physically, because it doesn't exist.
Why doesn't it exist?
That's a good question. Why doesn't it exist, Wes?
Why doesn't it exist?
Because it's a fraud.
And because they sell the debt on.
Well, I was going to mention that as well. People have heard a little bit about securitisation, how they bundle up bunches of mortgages and sell them on as financial, whatever, investment vehicles and everything else. So that means that a company, an investment bank or a pension fund or whatever, has actually paid them for that mortgage. They've actually paid them whatever. It means, say it's worth £180,000, they might have paid £130,000 for it. They're still going to make £50,000 profit, and they bundle 100 of those up. There's £50 million. That's you know, and then they get people to invest in that because it's going to grow. You know what I mean? Because it's a fund that, you know, it's people's debt. All of it, as we know, is fake. The debt is created from you going into the bank. New money is created when you ask for it, or when you get a loan. They create it out of thin air by electronic credits.
By your signature.
By your signature. The value is in your promissory note, or whatever you call it, a loan application, whatever they call it nowadays. You're the value. Unfortunately, it feeds into larger themes about you know, what humans are and what we're doing here, and the way they've pushed us down, they've done us down, they've degraded us and denigrated us for a very, very long time, to the point now where people are afraid, but we're fighting back.
Yeah, can I just say something? It's about the government's destroyed the community spirit. So people go home, go to work, they come home, they ignore what's going on, they send a note to the neighbours, and the community spirit's completely gone. So what we've done today, and we did it at Tom Crawford's, and we've been doing it for a couple of years, is that getting people back together again when you've got circumstances like that. Because bear in mind that everyone who's got a mortgage is only 3 mortgage payments away from having the house snatched away from them by the banking mafia cartel. Yeah. Because your house is their asset. You don't actually own anything. And this is where the banking system's tricked the customer, because they've got a power of attorney over your land registry and your deeds. And this is how they can come and take the house off you see. And this is what the major problem is. Because
if you look in your mortgage contract, that power of attorney clause will be in everyone, you know, from the last 20 or 30 years. You've signed over your power of attorney. That's a big thing. And I bet nobody's ever pointed it out to you. No banker, no mortgage salesman have ever pointed that out. It's very underhand. Most people out there will see this, what we've done today, what we're doing, what a few of us doing, we'll say, well, let's just try to pull a fast one. We're trying to get away without paying our debts and our dues. And nothing could be further from the truth. They think of us as fraudulent, us trying to pull a fast one, we're pulling the con. It's the other way around. The banks are conning us. And going back to what Wes said there, people have lost their loyalty to each other. We seem to be loyal or in fear of, really, the state, the banks, the government, the corporations that run them. And we need to get that spirit back. We need to get that community spirit back. So today I've been absolutely overwhelmed and humbled by the amount of people that have turned up, by the distances they've travelled to be here. And I've said about 3 or 4 times, I hope we don't take us an insult, but I didn't know any of you a year ago. I didn't know any of the people, 8 people turned up a year ago. Obviously my life's turned around because I wanted it to turn around, just to say for everybody. It's a case of taking a stand and all the rest of it. But the fact that people are willing to come and do that 3 years ago, that wouldn't have been possible. And now we're hoping that, exactly as Wes says, we can do that every time. Anytime somebody goes on Beat the Bailiffs in the Banks group on Facebook and puts out a call, tell us your story. People are helping each other with these fake debts, because it's not just the mortgage, it's the credit card debt. Everybody's got credit card debt or loan debt. It's all unsecured, so they have no legal rights whatsoever. They have no, you say no to them. You find out the information, find out the difference between common law and civil law, and between the law of the land, the common law, and maritime admiralty law, which is what they're conning us with. Find out about legal fiction. Find out about your straw man. Yeah, your birth certificate, because you are a living flesh and soul human being, and you are not. What you are not is some corporate piece of paper, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or Ms, in block capitals. That's how they trick you. You end up representing that legal fiction, and they can put levies and fines and taxes and all sorts on that. That's how it works. When you see it, it sounds mad until you don't see it, but until you've seen it for yourself. But once you've seen it, it all fits into place. Like, well, I always call it like one of those magic eye pictures that were going around in the 90s. It just looks like a load of dots. You do something with the muscles of your eyes, the lens, you just relax it slightly, and a 3D thing comes out. It's exactly the same with the reality and the perspective that they've thrown over us, that they've taught us, that they've manipulated with us, basically through the television. You turn the camera around here, no television in this room, there's no television.
Television.
There's no television. There is a stand, because I used to have one, because I only woke up about 18 months ago to all this stuff. Yes, we've got laptops because we're connected to the internet. People say, oh, it's on the internet. Of course you've got to discern, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm connecting with people. I'm not going, some site and all the rest of it. And yes, it's all watched, it's all surveilled, so quite obviously you've got to be careful what you do. But I'm Wes is doing some research somewhere else. So, you know what I mean? It's how we connect, it's how we've always done it, but it's just a lot quicker now. We used to do it by song or by story or by pictogram or what have you. That's how we shared information. Now, okay, it's their tool eventually, but luckily for us, we've learned how to use it very, very quickly. We've woken up, I think, a bit too soon and a bit too in great numbers. So, like I said, going back to the point of today, I really hope it can inspire people, not only to have a go to look for themselves and find out what's really good, how the hell does the financial system really work? Why don't they teach about it in school? They teach us about everything else, and algebra. I've never needed algebra. I've never needed to know x equals 2y and plus and all the rest of it, right? I've never needed it. I understood it at the time, quite obviously I have no idea what it's all about now. But they don't teach us about one of the most fundamental thing about living your life, because it's how we get our basic resources to live. And it's how they control us as well, because they pull the wool over our eyes. They encourage us not to look into it, and the way they do that is through complexity, through making everything complicated. So we require their expertise. We are too stupid to understand this amazing financial system with its SIVs and its SUVs and its HIVs and all the rest of it. We're too stupid to, and it's the same with medicine, it's the same with law. You know, are you a lawyer by trade?
No.
How long have you been studying law for?
Never.
Yet you seem to know a hell of a lot about the law of this land. How's that?
That's just common knowledge.
It's not, well, it should be common knowledge. It's becoming common knowledge. It's becoming common knowledge, isn't it? I'm interviewing you now, aren't I?
Yeah, right.
It's becoming common knowledge, but we're studying law. We're studying, all these new things that we should have studied really in school, but there's a reason why they don't teach us them, and it's the same reason why we go to war and why people are getting poorer and they tell lies. And to tell lies for a politician, for our representatives of the people, which is what their job is, to tell lies isn't good. The better they tell lies, the higher they go. That's how sick society is, and we know it's been reported. These guys have been child rapists, murderers, torturers. He's well known for it. Liam Britton, Margaret Thatcher covered it up. That was in the national newspaper. These people run the place, and we're giving them our power. We're saying, oh yeah, you can do what you want. Oh, red letters come through the door. Oh my God, I must pay. No, you don't have to pay at all. But tell them to go screw, because this is our planet, and this is not the way things have to be. Because the other thing that they do, as well as not lending us their funds at all and creating it out of thin air, and you can look that up for yourself, is manipulating prices. They were caught in the LIBOR scandal, which has kind of gone, I think it got dealt with on Christmas Eve again, sometime in 2011 or whatever. $2 billion fine, which is what a day's pay for somebody out in there. And it's fixing of interest rates, of overbank rates. And through that, they control the prices of all resources. We know they control the energy companies, the energy prices control, but they control the price of all resources. It should be a 20th or a 30th of what prices are now, really, in real terms. Because let's face it, the Earth gives it all for free. Everything on the Earth, however complicated it is, whatever kind of melting technology it is, it's come from the Earth, which the Earth has originally given for free. Yes, we've had to put labour in to make the machines, to mine it, or to whatever, to create it, but everything's come for free from the Earth. So why is it costing a fortune? Why is it costing the sky to just have some shelter, to buy some food, to pay for your energy? Yeah, people are struggling. Normal middle class people who are doing 40, 60 hours a week are struggling to do anything else apart from survive. They're not being happy. They're not, free to explore who they really are and what they really want to do on this planet. And that is because of the control of money, the control of resources, and the control of money. It should be £2,000 or £3,000 to buy, a simple family house like this, which is nothing. So imagine how easy that would be. You're like, oh no, it's got to be hard. No, it doesn't have to be hard at all. It doesn't have to be hard. We can be loyal to each other as a community, and not loyal anymore to this robbing, criminal banking system that wants us off the planet.
Yeah, I believe he was meant to be evicted today, but due to the numbers and the uproar it probably caused, I've just asked the bailiff not to do it today. I can't say when it's going to happen again, but today it's not happening.
You're not fighting it about you don't get paid for fighting for the banks.
Exactly.
You are the people just like us, just wear the uniform.
What do you think about the support for today?
I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. Like I say, from not just the number, but also from how far they've come, and the knowledge of people, and the fact that it's another thing as well, because everybody's, again, I've said I've only known people for less than a year, but how about all these other, we're all almost meeting together. They might know each other on Facebook a bit, what have you, but everybody gets on and just chatting away. You know what I mean? It is a party. It's the same thing when we go down Barton Moss, isn't it? It's phenomenal. It shows you what's happening.
So, you actually did a void order. Can you explain how you managed to do a void order through the court?
Okay. We declared, basically it was a 10-page, and then 244, which is an application to set aside. That unfortunately is an application, that's their thing. We don't want to apply, we want to declare that's a void order. And what we basically do, because this has been a long running campaign quite obviously against the banks, but we listed the things that the judge did wrong originally in the possession hearing, like making it private, not recording it properly, and then not hearing any of my evidence, or not considering any of the evidence.
Do you think the judges and the judicial system are behind the people for justice, or do you think the judicial system is hell bent on protecting the corporations and the banking system?
Well, we can only go off what we see. People, you start doing this stuff, and people who are got their heads firmly fixed in the mainstream media, the television, and the authorities and the government is right. Look at us. Obviously, we're quite mad. Sorry, what was the original question? It's a good job you can edit.
How did you do the void order? What was your process?
Right. We basically went through the process that we'd done, and we, and to be honest with you, a massive credit to Pete, who's done the bulk of the work. But basically, any order can be declared void. Any order by any judge, if it is unlawful, or if they didn't have the jurisdiction, or there's 3 criteria on it. And so we wrote that and basically took it to court, got it stamped. Funny enough, 2 days later, we got a letter back saying, we dismiss without merit, as you do, from an underjudge. So a deputy judge has sat and considered whether a full district judge, his order is void, and obviously declared it not so. That I'm pretty sure we'll have to look into because we got it recently. That's that's got to be illegal. That's got to be against the law. They're breaking their own rules all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we see the police do it. We see the police do out protest, not allowing peaceful protest. We're seeing bailiffs and banks and judges do it.
What do you think about the police? The way the police reacted?
The police were awesome today. The police were awesome today. I've got to say.
Why do you think that was?
It's hard to say, because it could always be a play. You know what I mean? We were well aware that it could always be a play. They were like, look, they're not coming back. There's too many people here. Kind of well done. He shook my hand. I was like, nice one, thanks. But he looked in my eye, and it was like he was saying, well done for standing up, because we need to see more of that.
Can you trust the police at the minute?
Quite obviously, from
be honest.
From all the stories. From all the stories. At the end of the day, unfortunately, the police are not as we think they are. It's as simple as that. We want them to be public servants and breach the peace. Now, my last 2 dealings with the police have been exactly that. They have done the right thing. They've not steamed in and assumed one side is right and one side is wrong, because they don't know civil law. They by their own admission, they only know criminal law. So on recently, in my personal experience, in these two occasions, and that's great because it means that they're treading carefully, they're aware that something's going on, they're talking to each other. Because I know when I had a robbery here a couple of months ago, police came and we started chatting and all the rest of it, and they said, "Oh, they're just like Tommy or whatever his name was in the station." I was like, "Oh, what? So they've got somebody who's awake, right? It's a copper like you, yeah." And it must always be going on about it. You know what I mean? So the people are waking up everywhere.
Yeah, there's a political awakening, but it's not.
Well, it's a spiritual awakening, isn't it? It's a consciousness awakening, and it doesn't cut it. You will come at it from certain angles, but it encompasses all aspects of our life.
The whole thing, yeah.
Which is superb. However, having said about the police, quite obviously, it's not just the police; it's everybody. It's the government. It's the civil service. It's the judicial system. It's every education system, science, religion. It's not they're obviously there's deep corruption, and it's to do with the secret societies and to do with the Freemasons. Those below the 30th level of Freemasons won't know anything about it. The Freemasons are good and charitable, but above that level, there is a secret network. It's been exposed time and time again. Everything adds up from your experience and your observation. You can work it back. But I think their goal is to corrupt those systems, to put enough people in. It's not everybody. You only have to have 1%, 2%, 5% of people, but get them in key positions and make sure they keep supporting each other and keep rising through the ranks. So those people are in positions of power and control, and they can corrupt and subvert everything. This is the common purpose thing, away from common sense to just don't worry about what's right. Just lead the group. Make sure you lead the group, and that's what they're training these common purpose people to do. And that is subverting morality. And we can see it every day with paedophiles in power, with child rape, and they're allowed to get away with it, and they get 2 years in a custody jail, and all of it, all the corruption that we see, MPs expensive and everything else. We've got to be careful though, because they want us to get so mad at those corrupt in the system that we see the whole system and go, let's tear it all down. Let's get rid of parliaments, let's get rid of banks, let's get rid of the police, let's get rid of the judges, let's get rid of all the education, let's get rid of all, let's just break down the whole system. And that's exactly what they want, because at that point there would be absolute chaos, panic, exactly as they want, and they can then bring in their new world order.
So where do you think, what's going to be the next process now? What happens after the bailiffs have been, obviously they got rejected, they've got to hand that warrant back now.
Right.
This is a procedure.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to put a shout out again. I will absolutely put a shout out again, hopefully. If we can get the same kind of number, or even half the number would do it. Because at the end of the day, not everybody can be everywhere all at once, unfortunately. We'll do it again. And like I say, hope anybody else puts a shout out. Let us know in advance if you're doing this and you've got bailiffs coming. Get a shout out. People will come. Believe people will come. We're getting past. We're killing that idea of no community. We're putting the community spirit back. Like, we will help each other. They want us, exactly as I said, they want us separated, they want us isolated, they want us
they actually need
fear.
Violence. Their quenches and for violence, for people to turn violent so they can react in that way.
You can bring in new laws. They can bring in new restrictive laws, and they can militarise police even further. Now we know it's August the 15th today, and in I've forgotten the place now. It's in Missouri. Ferguson, Missouri. They've had tanks and tear gas and everything else on the street because people are protesting that the cops illegally shot an 18-year-old and unblack kid. So people come out and protest, say, "What are you doing? We want justice," and all the rest of it, and they then respond with tanks. So, I mean, we don't want people to die. We want people to be, we don't want people to be injured or kettled or imprisoned and all the rest of it. But if that's waking people up, hang on a minute, the police state's already here. People still thinking 1984 somewhere in the distance, and it's the same thing here. Luckily, we don't have, although we've just started having in Scotland a couple of police on the beat that are just regular police. We have armed police, but they are special trained, a special unit. If there is some arms, someone armed, they get called out. But the irregular bobbies don't. We've just started it now. The police state's encroaching slowly. Hopefully, we can wake people up enough with actions and videos like this, and groups like Beat the Bailiffs and the Banks, and I don't know, Just get your head out of the television, innit? Get your head out of the television. There's a whole world going on. And I think it benefits you. You don't have, it's not just mortgages, council tax is fraudulent, income tax is fraudulent. Okay, if you work for a company, you'll get PAYE and it'll get taken off a source. But if you work for yourself, don't pay income tax. It goes to pay for the fake debts that we talked about. It goes to pay for wars. It goes to pay for, you know, cocaine for George Osborne and the MPs. You know, these people are criminals. At the end of the day, you lead everybody astray, bit by bit by bit, over thousands of years, gradually. And you know, it's the old wolf in sheep's clothing, but you know, they're a crime family, a mafia banking cartel that run and own and control all the world, well, pretty much all the world's resources, and they're coming in for the kill with the TTIP and the TPP, which you never hear about on any of the mainstream media because they're distracting us with all this other stuff, you know. Sorry.
Where or what do you see? What do you envision for the future? Because obviously this is far.
One love,
the future, yeah.
One heart, let's get together and feel alright.
Because obviously we're doing it not just for, we're doing it for our generation, our children's generation.
We're the last generation that can do it. We are the last generation that can do it. They've tried and tried and tried. They've been trying for thousands of years. They tried it in the Renaissance and they tried it in the 60s, but it got co-opted by drugs and the CIA and all the rest of it. And they're trying it here now. We know they are because we've been talking about it recently as well. Infiltrate, lots of genuine, people-led, independent but community. Truth. We want the truth. We're after the truth, and we know we're getting wise to those who aren't on our side, but who are mingling. Because there's no fight more important. There's nothing more important than this. They say we're the last generation. You look at it now. You look at the laws they're bringing in America, the Patriot Act and the NDAA. We've got similar laws here. They tried to extend the terrorism to 28 days or 2 months even. They can basically come in the middle of the night, take you and not charge you or let anybody know. They've still got that. We've still got the secret courts. We've just had the drip bill put in. So they can now surveil you. All telecoms companies are required by law to keep everything you do for a year or probably longer, I don't know, I'm not sure. But it's the way it's passed. It's obviously if you're not watching the television, you're not watching celebrity, you're not watching sports, you're not watching the bullshit that they throw at you to distract you, it's obvious what's going on. It only takes a few videos, a few days researching for yourself, in the right kind of place. Like I say, The Money Masters is a brilliant documentary to watch. Make you go like that. That's where money. That's how they create money. That's so. I see how it relates to you because everybody's got debts, and if you've not, then good, well done. I've got to say, but a lot of people are struggling with credit card debts. With this thing from the banks, we should be able to borrow against our future earnings at parity to get the things we need. But prices should be so cheap that most people won't need to make any big loans at all. Food should be grown everywhere for free. Energy should be free by now. You know what I mean? They silenced Tesla over 100 years ago. We could have all had free electricity by now, free energy to power and heat our homes. It's everything together. So hopefully we can wake lots of people up and come together and create a massive community. But not under no hierarchy. Nobody's a leader. There's no, we don't have to have a form political party or have an organisation. We didn't have to go through a committee to do this today. We put out a call, say, look, the bailiffs are coming, we've got it, and all the rest of it, and people turned up. And they'll go away and do some other things. And nobody's under any obligation to come back again next time. If they want to, they will. If they can't, they will. Or look, maybe a bunch of other people will come. And when a call goes out, we'll go out and help them whenever we can. But it doesn't need to be done by committee. It just needs to be done by heart and connection and truth and absolutely people power. Have you got any more questions for me, sir?
No, because you're difficult to interview. Can't get a fucking word in edgeways.
Yeah, I know, you're thinking, oh, that's that. Shit, he's moved off that now. Oh, that's that. Oh, no, he's gone there now.
No, I think that's right. Jail the bankers. Jail the bankers.
They do. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, how people are going to... there's that lady from Occupy in New York. She's got 6 years or something. For saying, hang on a minute, these bankers are criminals, exactly as we're doing. We're obviously going about it in a slightly different way. But she's got time. But the people who put millions of us out of work, including me and my colleagues, and millions of people across the world, and they purposely manipulate the economy. They manipulate the cause. They control the money. If you create the money, you control the money. You own the keys to the economy. So if there's a depression, they control it. It's they caused it. If there's an upswing, they caused it. It's quite easy. You print more money. You put more money into the system. More people have got more money. More trade goes on. Oh great, I've got £100. I've got £1,000. Let's go and buy some stuff. Yeah, if you haven't got the money, you don't buy it. The economy doesn't move. It's pretty straightforward to guys. But again, they want to complicate it. Stay away from complication. If it's not simple and it doesn't resonate, then there's something iffy about it. People are either straightforward or they're not. Things are either straightforward or they're not. It should be dead simple. It's a simple place. We live here. We breathe. We should, run about, play Bob Marley.
Earth, wind and fire.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Thank you.